Shvetashvatar Upanishad, which is considered an Upanishad of true devotion. We shall now turn towards a text which is considered a text of devotion and yet is imbued with supreme knowledge and supreme truth. Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the most popular, most revered and most remembered, recited text in Hindus, and has been the subject of discussion all over the world. We shall begin each of these classes with the following opening chant, which happens to be the first verse in Bhagavatam, and as has been the wont of the great Vedic seers, the first verse, as it were, in a condensed way, puts all the essential ideas of the whole book. Right in the beginning, in that first verse, the whole discussion, as it were, is compressed and presented so that you will not forget this idea while discussing the details. There are details, but then the details are important only as we see the essence too. The essential features or the essential of something is to be remembered, and then the minor details are to be seen. So like the wonderful ornaments and jewelries that a person is wearing. But the most important thing is whether the person is alive or not. If the person is living, then all of those count. If the person is dead, it doesn't matter whether there is the jewelry or no jewelry. So, similarly, this essential idea percolates in and through all the wonderful stories. So, let us begin this first verse. You will get familiar with the tune as we progress in these classes. Janmadyasya yatonvayaditarataschaर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना तेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So, the general meaning of this, although this verse, as I mentioned, packs the tremendously important ideas, lot of truths are packed in this one single verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. The whole Vedanta is in a way presented in a condensed form in this verse, and with an emphasis on devotion. So, the central idea here, as you can see, the last line, Satyam Param Dhimahi, the supreme truth that we meditate upon, this supreme truth, is what we keep on thinking. Supreme truth, Satyam Param, that very word suggests that there is a supreme truth, means there are truths which are not supreme. They are relative truths. In a particular context, they appear to be true. But then in some other context, they do not appear. They won't have any validity. They will not remain truths there. So these are different. The supreme truth is an absolute something which provides the truth to the relative truths. Relative is the manifestation of supreme in given context. So this is how you see the supreme truth that does not go away. In all different contexts, it remains. There are truths, as we know, which are relative truths. That it is, we ask that where this particular place is located, to east or to west or to north or south. It has a reference, that where you are, where from you are asking. So the answer east will be true from a person who is, from the standpoint of a person who is to the west of that place. But if the person is already to the east of it, then it will be a wrong answer. The person will have to tell, well, that is towards the east. For it is, if we ask, where is San Francisco from here, you will say, well, to the west. But then something further in Pacific, they will say, no, it is to the east, you have to go to the east. So it is like that. So these are relative truths, that the laws, like the laws which are valid and applicable, and they have their authority in one state, may not be equally valid in some other state, because they are relative truths. It is exactly all these relative truths, they are in a given context. Even the truths of physics and other sciences, they are relative truths. And we shall be discussing some of this coming Sunday's talk on ease, if you want to be. So it is here too we see the truths. They all derive this idea of truth from something that is beyond all relativity. And so therefore they get called as truths in different contexts. So all variety springs up from that one source. And that we feel, in fact, if you look deeply, all our actions depend, in spite of the perception of variety, on some underlying oneness. We see the variety in time, we perceive the variety in space. The example of variety in time is I 20 years ago, I now. We all can look into our, think of our past life. When I was a baby, then I went to my elementary school, and then I went to high school, then I went to college, and so forth. We can look upon all these stages in our life. And now the certain things which were true at one stage in life do not remain true in a different stage of life. But yet, these are all images of I. I am. Somehow I see, I cannot explain it, but I see that it is the same one I which is appearing differently, that's all. And that is why there is the sense of commitment, the sense of, having the same person. Like the things are all in flux, continuously changing. But this fellow who announced some time back that now from this Friday onwards, in 2020, we shall take up the topic of stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, during that few weeks, lot of things have changed in this person. Lot of material has gone in, lot of material has gone out. With everybody, not just this fellow. All of you have been eating food, isn't it? Yes. So it is, the material keeps on changing. I am not really the same. But whatever arguments you can give me, I will not be convinced that that was a different person who announced this class, and a different person is sitting who is now giving the class. I know this is the same person. That sameness with everyone, you will see this idea that it is, you take a loan now, say it is a loan with 20 years time to repay the whole thing. Like people take a mortgage on homes, they buy a home, now 20 years mortgage. Now in 20 years, the person who was middle-aged when got it can become old, will become old, but then knows that I am the same person who took the loan and I have to pay it. It is, even if that person goes to argue, no, everything is changing, I have changed. The people who gave the loan, are they going to accept this? No, you are the same fellow. Your body has undergone change. What has not undergone change? That cannot be pointed out. That cannot be shown. Everything that can be pointed out, friends, undergoes change. Everything that can be put in black and white, everything that can be even indicated, that undergoes change. And yet, we are very much convinced that I don't change, I am the same being. This is about the variety in time. Similarly, variety in space. That like this person is different from Kamala sitting there, the two are different. Kamala sitting there and Raj sitting by her side, they two are different. They are different in now space. So they are different in space. But see, what is different? Same fundamental particles, whatever names you may give that electrons, protons, or it is the scientific community keeps on discovering new levels of fundamental particles, whatever it may be. this is one heap of those particles, that is another heap of that particle, this is another heap. But it is same. So in space also there is the same one reality that does not change. And therefore that is the supreme truth. Satyam param dhimahi. This verse tells that the supreme truth, how is it? This is meditated upon because that is where all that we seek in life lies. And this variety somehow troubles us. Variety generates desires. We have all different desires, and at different times the different desires arise. Now what is this desire? Just see this psychology of desire. That there is something that I am not, and I want to be one with that. I want to possess that. And that is the meaning of desire. And so, in a way, many desires end up in pseudo-oneness, which give us pseudo means that oneness doesn't last much, because that is not, it is only apparent oneness. And that even that apparent oneness gives us some apparent happiness. Like I have a desire for eating a cookie. I get a desire for eating a cookie. Do you get that desire sometimes? No. Yeah, so it is everybody get a desire to eat something. Oh, cookie, nice, I like. Now, that desire, what it does? It makes you to bring oneness between you and cookie, isn't it? You go towards it and lift it, put it in your mouth, and then you feel happy. Yeah, okay, I had the cookie. So it ends up in bringing oneness, but it is pseudo-oneness. What is the idea in calling it pseudo? Because again you see the cookie out there, again you get the desire for it. So it really did not become one. So the desires therefore keep on persisting, never reaching the ultimate satisfaction. So this is this manifestation of oneness. And thus when we get to that supreme oneness, which is not a brought about oneness, but the real oneness. It is, to give another familiar analogy, is that you see so many waves rising and falling on ocean. Now they are different waves. How do they unite? Well, they have as such no existence. It keeps on changing, the wave rises, grows, and falls back. Like we all, there is a date of birth, and then you grow, and then you start again getting old, and then you are physically gone. But it is just a manifestation of that ocean. All waves are same in ocean. That is the true oneness of all waves. You cannot, the combination of two waves, well, it gives rise to some third wave, that's all. It is not becoming one. It is when you see that the ocean has always been the one for all changing waves, the unchanging reality of all of them. So that is the Satyam Param Dhimahi. We meditate on that supreme truth. And this is where the religion comes into picture. Religion is the search for this supreme truth. And this search is for the experience of it. It is not just intellectual understanding, not just reading books or thinking about those. Meditation is not just merely thinking. Meditation is going deeper from, say, wave to ocean. It is, or the meditation that we were doing, from the shape of the animal cookie, go to the essence of it. That is meditation. So, that is the job of religion, to go to the essence of the things. Just brush aside the names and forms and go to the deep essence. All religions, you will see, therefore, emphasize on this truth. You see in Christianity or Judaism or Islam, in Buddhism, in Hinduism, all different sects, Taoism, truth is the ultimate reality, ultimate search, that we want to know the truth. All human beings, whether they really adhere to the truth or not in their life, is a different matter. Most of us really do not adhere to truth to the fullest extent. Maybe we utter verbal truth or legal truth, hiding certain things, putting the desirable spins on those. That is not really speaking the truth. When you want to say something, just truth in terms of words is one thing. But if it is directed or put forth in such a way to mislead other persons deliberately, then it does not qualify the test of truth. And although we may not always adhere to the truth, especially if the truth is hurting what I am seeking in this world, and spin on this, like they tell a story, legally true, that somebody advertised that this is a novel machine to kill bed bugs. If just costing $10, if you find it not efficient, your money along with the shipping, everything will be returned to you, returned back. So a man ordered that machine. When the parcel well packed, packing is again a way to cheat, put it in nice packing. The fellow opened, there were two stones. One is rather flat and another round. The instructions: catch a bedbug, put it on the flat stone and smash it with the round stone. If the bedbug doesn't die, all your money is refunded. Now this is a cheating, what it is. So, but legally you can't find fault with it. Yeah, well, we said that it is very efficient if you will the which bedbug can survive this kind of being hammered like this. So this is not really the truth. We will if we order some such thing and get this, will we not say that we got cheated? It is cheating, yeah. So, but legally it is fine, you cannot sue that fellow because legally everything is right, you see. Therefore, Satyam Param, that we all respect truth. If you take, for example, a vow that I shall always speak the truth, with efforts by being conscientious all the time, you will be able to stick to that your vow to a great extent. But if you take a vow that I will always lie, I will never tell a truth. Now this in essence is you are breaking the vow, because if you stick to this, I will never tell the truth, then you have told the truth and thus broken the vow. So it is that vow can never be fulfilled. The vow to stand by the truth you can fulfill. It is the nature of the truth of being independent. So this is now Bhagavatam that we are going to discuss is a Purana. Now what is Purana? It is the literal translation of it is that narration or narrative from ancient times. That is Purana. That is the literal meaning of this word. But it refers to certain special texts which are immensely spiritual in content, but given in form of stories, that how things happened. They tell lot of stories, give lot of histories. There are many different characteristics of Purana are told, that it tells you about the stories of creation, means how this one became many. We want very much interested, that to know how the one became many, where from this problem really began. Even a little child the other day asked me this question. She was telling everybody, I am 5 years old little girl. Now she asked this question. Her mother said she keeps on asking this, we don't know what to tell. And when she asked the question, I said with folded hands, I also don't know what to answer, you see. That question always comes forth in the discussion in different words. That she asked the question, who was born the first? And then how from that firstborn so many things got born? How was the first who was born? And who was before that? So now more learned people, seniors and all, they ask this question, where from all this trouble began and why? Why, if everything is one, why did it become many? Is there an answer to it? No. Yet this question gets asked many times. Another form of this question is, why there is suffering in the world? Actually, basically the same question, phrased in a way that it is related more to us. That's all. In our day-to-day life we suffer. So why is there suffering in the world? In presence of Sri Ramakrishna, one such incident took place that many were present in the room, and Sri Ramakrishna used to start some discussion, would keep quiet himself and let others debate about these views. So one question was, why did the compassionate God, God has to be compassionate, isn't it? Yeah. Why God, though compassionate, put so much of suffering in this world? And then they were discussing various things. One of the devotees, his name was Kedar, and he said, well, that particular meeting in which God decided to keep suffering in spite of being compassionate, I was absent in that meeting and therefore I don't have any answer. And all of us were absent. The idea is that this we do not, it is only after that we came we are seeing the suffering. So what was done, we don't know. Nobody has answer. Now, therefore, this question therefore gets answered in a novel way through stories. That the stories of creation are told, and just to take our mind gradually from this many to one. Stories, they make our mind travel. That is why people get so absorbed in stories. It is, I have seen many, not only the kids, but some who are grown up also, they take Harry Potter or whatever, say a little girl, a fifth grader, was reading Harry Potter, and she was not paying attention to anything else. All, she came from some other place and she took a promise from parents that I will keep on reading this book. I don't want to leave this book. You can go wherever you want. I want to read the book. So the parents assured her that, okay, you can keep on reading the book. And then even though she sat for eating with everybody, she was not aware of what others are talking about. Even what food is in the plate, she was not aware about. Children, how particular they are about food, how many times if they don't get the food that they like, they throw tantrums. But now this was not, whatever was in the plate, that girl was not paying attention. Because the whole attention was on the story, and she would get identified with Harry Potter and different characters of the story, and you as it were travel with those characters. You become those characters. That is the great utility of stories, that they keep on taking your mind to different levels. You forget your present surroundings and are transported to different surrounding. It is different situation, to different ideas, different truths. They all become now, in a way, really, we become conscious of this changed surroundings as real. So that is why these stories, they give answers in these pseudo answers. Means what these pseudo answers means, they do not really answer the question. They make the question disappear. The two things are different, It is just to give you an analogy, that suppose you have this problem in the dream, that, where this tiger came right here in front of me, where from? Now who is to give the answer? And when you wake up, the question disappears. Do you get an answer? Where the tiger came from? You just smile at it. Well, where there wasn't any tiger. It was just a dream. It is where from the tiger came, the question does not get answered. It gets dissolved, gone. So similarly, this question, where from the many appear, is gone when you are taken gradually to feel the reality of that one, and then this dream of many just dissolves. That is the great efficacy of stories, friends. The logical discussion can intellectually convince you to some extent that it is all one. But then this problem of how the many came from one, who did it, why, so forth, cannot be answered logically. But through stories, again, it cannot be answered in that sense of question and a logical answer, but the question becomes now meaningless. You see the God, the glory of that divine, and that you see that this whole world is involved in that divine. I, you, this world, everything is in that one divine being. You lose gradually the sense of separateness, multiplicity, and then love becomes real, Otherwise there is no love actually. It is some kind of an adjustment that gets called love. Somehow, therefore it lasts as long as it works, like a partnership, and you have a business partnership. Well, it lasts as long as it is profitable to the partners, all of them. If it is not profitable anymore, in fact you incur losses, okay, the firm is dissolved. It is incurring losses. So also with these so-called love, it is coming together because of certain desires, certain needs. It is a need-based arrangement that gets called by this word love. You see the real love in real one. In apparent oneness, you have only apparent deceptive love. It is deceptive oneness, and so you get deceptive love also. It is nothing wrong. It is not a matter to blame someone. It is in the nature of the things. We are all in that, friends. But we still hanker for love. Where do we get the true love? In that which is actually one. There is no forced bringing one. You can never make two things one, friends. Let's remember that. But that which is actually, truly one, in that all this, the variety subsists. So when you see that, then you get true love as well, and true peace as well. That is why telling these truths through stories without compromising the philosophy, in fact illustrating that philosophy, is the nature of these Puranas. And now Puranas, Bhagavatam is one of the Puranas. One of the 18 Puranas, one of them is called Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam, as we have now, we shall discuss about it in our next slide. The highest philosophy, as you can see, becomes easy. The spiritual life looks practical. because of the nature that it is told through persons. That so you see that people have practically realized it. That person did it. So why I cannot? It is practically now possible. Can one realize God in life? In our day-to-day mundane life, even though we read about it, we feel a sense of impossibility. Oh, those are things, those questions don't have any. Let us forget all that. Let us continue our scientific research, which never takes you anywhere, friends. We become, what Swami Vivekananda said, a learned idiot. That's it. We read a lot of books, but that is the end of this all intellectualism. That it is, you become a learned idiot. That is why the reason is here, that it is not seen as practical, and so when you get a sense of practically realizing the truth, when something is demonstrated, then you feel the reality of it. One gentleman used to ask me this question very often. Whenever I used to go to that place, that it is in Florida. So after the lecture, he would attend all lectures, but he declared himself as agnostic, not really believing these things. So he used to ask this question in the earlier times when I used to have this, that show me one person. I don't need two. Show me one living person who has realized this truth. And I always answered him that how would you know that somebody has realized it, even if I show you some person? Do you have the means to judge whether that person has realized or not realized? What will you see in that person? So, do you have the standard? If, say, you ask, is this real gold or not? If somebody who wants to sell you some imitation says yes, it is, but do you have some means to test its that reality, to have that test? So do you have a test? So first he did not understand my question. But then gradually he saw that, yeah, first I have to develop the way to test it. And then this question becomes meaningful for me. And in Puranas, you are developed this understanding through devotion. That so therefore we shall see gradually. Now this is some mundane discussion about the time of Bhagavatam, that it is, various views are about that. One is that it is started in the 6th BC, but the final version that we see is in the 6th AD. It went through 3 different stages. And so this view also has now gained a lot of acceptance. It was composed during 13th century. These two are the two extremes. The 13th century AD by by some Western Indologists, Wilson, MacDonald, Colebrook, and burned off. This theory was promulgated in the middle of the last century, but there were so many internal proofs to puncture it that it really got debunked after some time. And then there are the scholars more or less like to identify with the first idea that it is evolution in 3 stages. So certain important things here are to be taken, that no reference of Bhagavatam is found in the discussion, in the commentaries, and these are very authoritative commentaries which are studied by all different sects. The commentary of Shankaracharya and commentary of Ramanujacharya, they do not have any mention of Bhagavatam. Then another thing is that there is no mention of Radha in Bhagavatam. In the present text that is taken up as Bhagavatam, there is no mention of Radha. And although there are some old texts and some other Puranas like Padma Purana, there is the mention of Radha in the story of Krishna, but not in Bhagavatam. And then, so therefore, there are some obstacles, some hurdles in accepting the story, or the conclusion that it was ready by 6th century AD. Then why did Ramanuja not quote it? Because there is lot of material that would support Ramanuja's idea of what is called qualified non-dualism. And there are lot of ideas which are supportive of Shankaracharya's complete non-dualism. Yet you don't find any of them have quoted from this text, whereas they have quoted extensively from some other Puranas. Why Srimad Bhagavatam, an important one, has been left out? We have no idea whatsoever. Now, we will begin with this story next time, and this story is about this a question that is asked by one sage, Chaunaka, to Suta about how to develop viveka, means the power to discern, which comes by the development of bhakti, devotion, knowledge, and practice of dispassion. How one develops that. So it's an important idea in spiritual life, and we shall look into that in our next class. We shall now there will be a concluding chant and a concluding song with which we will end this discussion. Again, you will get the tune as we proceed in the class. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam shukamukhadamritadrava sanyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuruho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. And then we shall chant this name of Lord Krishna. It is a very popular tune. You can join in chanting it. Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol. Say, Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol. Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol. Krishna Krishna Bol. Krishna Krishna Bol. Krishna Krishna Bol. Krishna Krishna Bol. Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol. Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. So today, since this was the first class and just introductory, we will not have the question answer session because already it is getting late. So we shall just meditate on this, the glory of the Lord, and chanting that name, we shall leave. Of course, I am sure many of you might be having many questions, but we shall take them up next Friday. So, thank you very much.